As 2026 approaches, the world stands at a crossroads. The pace of change is relentless, with geopolitics, technology, and economics all in flux. This year, we see the emergence of new power dynamics, the rise of transactional diplomacy, and the fatting of old alliances. The global order is shifting, and every region faces its own set of challenges and opportunities. From the corridors of power in Washington and Beijing to the streets of Europe and the Middle East, the decisions made now will shape the future for years to come. Let's explore the key trends and pivotal moments that will define the world ahead in 2026. America marks its 250th anniversary in 2026, but the celebration is anything but unified. The country is deeply divided, with Republicans and Democrats offering starkly different visions of its past and future. Political polarization is at an all-time high, and the midterm elections will serve as a referendum on the nation's direction. Even as the country commemorates its founding, questions about democracy, leadership, and national identity loom large. The outcome of these debates will have profound implications not just for America, but for the world. Global order is in a state of drift. Analysts debate whether we are entering a new Cold War or simply witnessing the rise of transactional spheres of influence. The old rules-based system is eroding, replaced by ad hoc coalitions and shifting alliances. America, China, and Russia each pursue their interests, often at the expense of global stability. In this environment, uncertainty reigns, and countries must adapt quickly to survive and thrive. Conflicts continue to simmer in various regions. While there is hope for a fragile peace in Gaza, wars in Ukraine, Sudan, and Myanmar grind on. The boundaries between war and peace are increasingly blurred, with gray zone provocations testing alliances and raising tensions in new domains like cyberspace and the Arctic. The world must navigate these dangers carefully, as the risks of escalation remain ever present. Europe faces a daunting set of challenges in 2026. The continent must boost defense spending, maintain economic growth, and manage rising deficits, all while dealing with the rise of hard-right parties. The pressure to remain a champion of free trade and environmental policy is intense, but competing priorities make it difficult to achieve all goals simultaneously. The choices Europe makes now will determine its role in the new global order. China is seizing new opportunities as America turns inward. Despite its own economic challenges, China is positioning itself as a reliable partner, especially in the global south. By striking trade deals and presenting a stable alternative to American unpredictability, China aims to expand its influence. The challenge will be to keep relations with the U.S. transactional rather than confrontational, as both sides navigate a complex and competitive landscape. Global economy is under strain. While the U.S. economy has shown resilience, tariffs and deficits are dampening growth. Rich countries are living beyond their means, raising the risk of a bond market crisis. Much depends on the leadership of central banks and the ability of governments to manage fiscal policy responsibly. The coming year will test the limits of economic resilience and the capacity for adaptation. Artificial intelligence is both a source of hope and concern. Massive investments in AI infrastructure may be masking underlying economic weaknesses. While AI has the potential to boost productivity, there are fears of a bubble and worries about its impact on jobs, especially for graduates. The true economic, financial, and social consequences of AI will begin to emerge in 2026, shaping the future of work and industry. Climate change remains a central issue. While limiting warming to 1.5 degrees C is now seen as out of reach, global emissions may have peaked and clean technology is booming, especially in the global south. Companies are meeting or exceeding climate targets, though often quietly. Geothermal energy and other innovations are worth watching as the world seeks sustainable solutions amid political resistance. Sport, often seen as an escape from politics, is deeply entangled with global issues in 2026. The Football World Cup, jointly hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico, faces challenges from strained relations and security concerns. Meanwhile, the enhanced games in Las Vegas allowing performance-enhancing drugs spark debates about ethics and fairness. Sporting events reflect broader societal tensions and values. New generation of weight loss drugs, such as improved GLP-1 pills, is set to transform health and wellness. These medications will become more accessible, expanding debates about the ethics of enhancement beyond elite athletes to the general public. The implications for public health, personal responsibility, and social norms will be far-reaching as more people participate in the Olympic Games of everyday life. In a world of rapid change, the ability to adapt and transform is more important than ever. Organizations are turning to transformative strategies, leveraging partnerships and a full spectrum of services to reimagine their futures. Confidence in transformation comes from embracing change, building resilience, and fostering innovation across ecosystems. Forecasting has become both an art and a science. Superforecasters use data, probability, and experience to predict key global events from economic growth to election outcomes. Their insights help governments, businesses, and individuals prepare for uncertainty. In 2026, their predictions will be tested as the world navigates complex challenges and unexpected development. America's approach to foreign policy is increasingly unpredictable. Transactional deals, shifting alliances, and a focus on immediate gains over long-term strategy define the current era. Allies and adversaries alike must adjust to a world where American commitments can change rapidly and where unpredictability is both a tool and a risk. The Democratic Party faces a critical test in the 2026 midterms. While they have a chance to regain control of the House, deeper issues remain. The party must broaden its appeal beyond its liberal base, address cultural and economic concerns, and find leaders who can unite a diverse electorate. The outcome will shape the future of American politics. America is conducting a series of radical economic experiments, from high tariffs to massive deficits and an assault on central bank independence. The effects are already visible in growth, prices, and employment. 2026 will reveal how much these policies have upended the economy and whether the risks of crisis or stagnation can be avoided. U.S. is intensifying its crackdown on immigration, with increased enforcement, new detention centers, and stricter asylum rules. Mass deportations and legal migration restrictions are reshaping the labor market and society. The political and economic consequences of these policies will be closely watched in the coming year. Concerns about election integrity are front and center as the U.S. approaches the 2026 midterms. Legal challenges, executive orders, and the potential use of federal power to influence outcomes raise the stakes. The resilience of democratic institutions and the response of the public will determine whether the system holds under pressure. America's traditional soft power built on education, innovation, and openness is under threat. Visa restrictions, funding cuts, and a hostile environment for foreign students are driving talent elsewhere. The resulting brain drain and loss of influence could have long-term consequences for innovation and global leadership. U.S. Supreme Court is poised to play a pivotal role in 2026, with rulings on executive power, tariffs, and immigration. The court's decisions will shape the balance of power between branches of government and set precedents for years to come. The outcomes will be closely watched by both supporters and critics of the administration. 2026 World Cup, hosted by the US, Canada, and Mexico, is fraught with political and logistical challenges. Security concerns, strained relations, and restrictive policies may deter fans and participants. The event will serve as a microcosm of broader societal tensions and the intersection of sport and politics. Periods of upheaval are not new. The Gilded Age in American history offers lessons for today with its mix of technological progress, political paralysis, and social inequality. The solutions to current challenges may lie in forward-looking reforms and the creation of new institutions, rather than a return to the past. North America faces a year of both celebration and negotiation. The joint hosting of the World Cup and the review of the US-Mexico-Canada agreement highlight the region's interconnectedness and the challenges of cooperation. Trade, migration, and security are all on the agenda, with each country seeking to protect its interests while maintaining vital partnerships. Argentina stands at a crossroads, with President Javier Milei pursuing ambitious reforms to stabilize the economy and attract investment. After a turbulent period, the country has an opportunity to achieve macroeconomic normality and lay the groundwork for sustainable growth. The success of these efforts will depend on political will and cooperation. Brazil's mega-election in 2026 could mark a return to moderation after years of polarization. With populist extremes losing appeal, centrist coalitions are gaining ground. The outcome will have significant implications for governance, stability, and Brazil's role in the region. Haiti remains mired in chaos, with gang violence, political instability, and humanitarian crises undermining hopes for recovery. International interventions have had limited success, and the path to democracy and stability remains uncertain. The resilience of the Haitian people will be tested once again in 2026. President Nayib Bukele has consolidated power in El Salvador, rewriting the constitution and suppressing dissent. While his crackdown on gangs has reduced crime, concerns about human rights and democracy are growing. The country's future will depend on whether economic and social challenges can be addressed without further eroding freedoms. Latin American culture is making waves globally, from music and film to literature and art. Streaming platforms, diaspora communities, and social media are amplifying the region's creative output. In 2026, Latin America's influence on global entertainment and culture will be stronger than ever. Breakdown of the old multilateral order has given rise to a new era of variable geometry, dynamic, overlapping coalitions built around shared interests. These pragmatic alliances are more adaptable and resilient, allowing countries to respond quickly to emerging challenges. The future of international cooperation may depend on the success of these flexible networks. Asia is navigating a complex landscape of economic and strategic competition. China is positioning itself as a reliable partner, signing new trade deals and hosting major summits. Meanwhile, countries like Bangladesh and India are undergoing political and demographic transformations that will shape the region's future. India's long-delayed census will have far-reaching consequences for governance, representation, and social policy. The data collected will inform everything from welfare programs to political redistricting, reshaping the country's political landscape and addressing long-standing inequalities. World's first officially recognized climate refugees will arrive in Australia from Tuvalu in 2026. This historic migration highlights the growing impact of climate change on sovereignty, identity, and international law. Other vulnerable nations are watching closely as new models of statehood and migration emerge. Japan is redefining the concept of family, with new laws on joint custody and growing pressure for gender equality and same-sex partnerships. These reforms reflect changing social attitudes and the need to address demographic challenges, such as a declining birth rate and an aging population. Vietnam is pushing ahead with ambitious reforms to boost private enterprise, streamline bureaucracy, and attract investment. The country's rapid growth and strategic location make it a key player in regional supply chains, but it must balance state control with the need for dynamism and innovation. India is rapidly adopting artificial intelligence, leveraging its digital infrastructure to deliver services and drive inclusive growth. The focus is on building trustworthy, human-centered AI that addresses real needs in agriculture, education, and public services. India's experience could offer lessons for the world. China is leveraging American isolationism to expand its influence, especially in clean tech, Africa, and the developing world. By offering economic investment and stability, China presents itself as a reliable partner, even as it pursues its own interests and strategic goals. China's 15th five-year plan will set the tone for the next phase of development, focusing on technological self-reliance, environmental sustainability, and demographic challenges. The plan aims to break foreign strangleholds on key technologies and create a more family-friendly society. Despite government efforts, China's economy is expected to slow in 2026. Consumption may suffer from payback after subsidy-fueled spending, while trade tensions and a sluggish property market add to uncertainty. The government will need to balance stimulus with structural reforms. China is making strides in exporting its culture, from toys and video games to stand-up comedy. While creative restrictions remain, Chinese brands are gaining recognition abroad. The growth of live comedy and diverse voices reflects a society seeking solace and connection amid economic uncertainty. China is prioritizing the rapid adoption of artificial intelligence across industries, focusing on practical applications rather than chasing artificial general intelligence. The AI Plus campaign aims to integrate AI into energy, healthcare, and government, leveraging the country's digital economy and tech-savvy population. China is intensifying its Anaconda strategy against Taiwan, using political, economic, and military pressure short of outright invasion. The region faces increased brinkmanship in the South and East China Seas, with neighboring countries responding through diplomacy and deterrence. The Middle East is caught between transformation and inertia. While some countries seek regional change, others resist. The future of Gaza, the prospects for peace with Iran, and the expansion of the Abraham Accords all hang in the balance. The region's trajectory will depend on the interplay of local and international actors. Democracy in Africa faces significant challenges, with sham elections, entrenched leaders, and ongoing conflicts. While some countries offer hope for credible votes, many are stuck in cycles of authoritarianism and instability. Aid cuts and shifting alliances are forcing African policymakers to rethink their strategies for development. The world is entering a bloodier era, with conflicts in Ukraine, Sudan, Taiwan, and beyond threatening stability. The risk of escalation is high, and the outcomes of these wars will shape the global landscape. The ability of international actors to manage and resolve these crises will be a key test in 2026. As we look to the world ahead in 2026, one thing is clear: uncertainty is the new normal. The interplay of politics, economics, technology, and society will continue to shape our collective future. Adaptability, resilience, and a willingness to embrace change will be essential for navigating the challenges and opportunities that lie ahead.